The day you stop waiting for people to believe in you is the day your life begins to change. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody owes you motivation, support, or permission. The strongest people aren't the ones surrounded by crowds. They're the ones who learned to keep moving when nobody was watching. If you can work alone, suffer alone, learn alone, and grow alone, you'll become unstoppable. Today isn't about loneliness. It's about independence. It's about becoming the person who creates success without depending on anyone else. This is your journey, and it's time to walk it alone. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for validation. There is one invisible prison that traps more dreams than failure ever could. It isn't fear. It isn't a lack of money. It isn't a lack of talent. It's the need for validation. The need to hear someone say, "I believe in you." The need to receive permission before taking the first step. The need to wait until everyone understands your vision. Listen carefully. If your confidence depends on someone else's approval, then your future is in someone else's hands. That is not freedom. That is dependence. And dependence quietly destroys potential. You have a choice. You can spend your life asking people what they think, or you can build a life that makes their opinions irrelevant. That's the key. Most people never begin because they're waiting for the perfect response. They tell a friend about a business idea. The friend laughs. The dream dies. They tell a family member they want to write a book. The family member says it's unrealistic. The notebook stays empty. They say they want to change their life. Someone reminds them of their past failures. They believe it. Nothing changes. One opinion becomes a life sentence. Think about that. One conversation, one negative comment, one careless opinion, and suddenly years of potential disappear. Not because the dream was impossible, because the dream was abandoned. You don't need their permission. You need your decision. Read those words again. You don't need their permission. You need your decision. The world has always doubted people before celebrating them. History repeats this lesson over and over again. Every inventor was questioned. Every entrepreneur was underestimated. Every athlete was told they weren't good enough. Every artist was criticized before they were admired. The pattern never changes. First they doubt you. Then they ignore you. Then they notice you. Finally they ask how you did it. Don't expect applause at the beginning. Beginnings are usually quiet. Progress is usually invisible. Success is usually lonely before it becomes obvious. That's why you must learn to walk without applause. If people support you, appreciate it. If they don't, continue anyway. Because support is a bonus. It is not a requirement. You have a choice. Depend on encouragement, or depend on commitment. Encouragement comes from other people. Commitment comes from within. Commitment lasts longer. Imagine a seed buried deep beneath the ground. Nobody sees it. Nobody applauds it. Nobody congratulates it. But every single day, that seed continues to grow. Silently, patiently, consistently. One day it breaks through the surface. People call it an overnight success. They never saw the months of invisible growth. Your journey is the same. There will be seasons when nobody notices your effort. Keep working. There will be seasons when nobody understands your vision. Keep building. There will be seasons when people misunderstand your silence. Keep improving. Results speak louder than explanations. Stop explaining. Start executing. That's the key. Many people spend more time talking about success than working toward it. Talking feels productive. Planning feels productive. Announcing goals feels productive. But none of those things change your life. Action does. Every single day, ask yourself one question. What did I build today? Not what did I imagine? Not what did I promise? Not what did I post online? What did I actually build? Because reality only rewards action. Your future doesn't care about your intentions. It responds to your execution. Execution separates dreamers from builders. Execution separates spectators from creators. Execution separates potential from achievement. You don't need their permission. You need your decision. The moment you stop asking for approval, something powerful happens. Your energy changes. Instead of proving people wrong, you start proving yourself right. Instead of seeking validation, you seek progress. Instead of chasing attention, you chase excellence. That is where confidence begins. Confidence is not built by compliments. Confidence is built by evidence. You finish difficult work. You become more confident. You keep promises to yourself. You become more confident. You overcome another obstacle. You become more confident. Confidence is earned, not gifted. That's the key. Think about the strongest people you've ever met. Were they constantly asking for advice about every decision? Probably not. They listened. They learned. Then they acted. Because wisdom without action is useless. Knowledge without execution changes nothing. Action transforms information into results. Don't misunderstand this lesson. Learning is important. Mentors are valuable. Feedback is helpful. But there comes a moment when learning must end and action must begin. Otherwise, preparation becomes procrastination. Many people hide behind preparation. They say they need another course, another book, another certification, another perfect plan. No. Sometimes what you really need is courage. The courage to begin before you feel ready. The courage to fail. The courage to improve. The courage to continue. You have a choice. Keep preparing forever, or begin building today. The first path feels safe. The second path changes lives. Remember this. Nobody can give you belief. Nobody can hand you discipline. Nobody can donate confidence. Those qualities are built through repeated action, brick by brick, day by day, decision by decision. Your life becomes stronger every time you choose action over approval. Every challenge becomes training. Every setback becomes education. Every failure becomes experience. That is how resilient people are made. Not by avoiding difficulty, by walking through it, alone if necessary. Don't fear being alone. Fear becoming someone who cannot move without constant encouragement. Because encouragement won't always be available. But discipline can be. Purpose can be. Commitment can be. Those are the qualities that stay with you when the room becomes silent. And make no mistake, there will be silent seasons. Friends will disappear. People will doubt you. Some will laugh. Others will ignore you. Keep moving. Because your mission is bigger than their opinion. Never confuse popularity with progress. Some of the greatest work in history was created in silence, long before the world noticed. Protect your vision. Protect your time. Protect your focus. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams before they become reality. Sometimes silence is strategy. Sometimes privacy is power. Sometimes working alone is the fastest way forward. You don't need their permission. You need your decision. Repeat those words every morning. Repeat them every evening. Repeat them whenever fear whispers that you should wait. Waiting rarely creates opportunity. Action does. This chapter is not asking you to reject people. It is asking you to stop depending on them. Appreciate support, but never require it. Respect advice, but make your own decisions. Accept criticism, but don't surrender your future to someone else's opinion. Your life belongs to you. Your dream belongs to you. Your responsibility belongs to you. That is freedom. Today, make one decision you've been delaying. Start the project. Write the first page. Record the first video. Make the first phone call. Take the first step. Not because everyone believes in you. Because you finally believe enough in yourself to begin. You have stopped waiting for validation. Now it's time to build something even more powerful. The ability to stay disciplined when nobody is watching. Chapter 2. Build discipline when nobody is watching. There is a version of you the world will never see. It doesn't stand on a stage. It doesn't post achievements online. It doesn't receive applause. It doesn't collect trophies. It exists in the quiet hours. Early in the morning. Late at night. When the room is empty. when the phone is silent, when nobody is watching. That version of you decides everything. Because public success is always built in private. That's the truth most people never understand. They admire the result. They ignore the routine. They celebrate the victory. They overlook the sacrifice. But success doesn't begin when people notice you. Success begins when you choose to keep going without being noticed. You have a choice. You can become someone who performs only when people are watching. Or you can become someone who performs because excellence has become your standard. That's the key. Imagine two people training for the same race. The first trains only when the coach is present. The second trains even when no one checks on them. Months later, race day arrives. Who wins? The answer was decided long before the starting line. It was decided in the unseen moments. The extra practice. The additional repetition. The decision to continue after everyone else stopped. Discipline is not what you do once. It is what you continue doing when there is no external reward. Many people mistake motivation for discipline. They are not the same. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is intentional. Motivation says, "I'll work when I feel excited." Discipline says, "I'll work because that's who I choose to be." One depends on feelings. The other depends on values. Feelings change every day. Values remain. That's why disciplined people continue moving while everyone else is waiting for inspiration. They understand something powerful. Action creates motivation far more often than motivation creates action. Start first. Feel inspired later. You don't need their permission. You don't need someone to remind you. You don't need someone to hold your hand. The greatest promise you will ever keep is the promise you make to yourself. Every time you keep that promise, your self-respect grows. Every time you break it, your confidence weakens. Think carefully about that. Confidence isn't built by hearing encouraging words. Confidence is built by proving to yourself that you can be trusted. If you tell yourself you'll wake up at 6, wake up at 6. If you promise 30 minutes of learning, complete 30 minutes. If you commit to finishing today's work, finish it. Small promises matter. Because character is built one promise at a time. Most people dream about changing their lives. Very few change their daily standards. But your standards determine your future, not your wishes, not your excuses. Your standards. Raise them. Stop negotiating with yourself. Every time your alarm rings, there is a conversation inside your mind. Sleep a little longer. Skip today. You deserve a break. Those thoughts will never disappear. The question is simple. Who is making the final decision? Comfort or commitment? You have a choice. The strongest people are not those who never hear excuses. They are the people who refuse to obey them. That's the key. Discipline is like a muscle. Use it, and it grows stronger. Ignore it, and it becomes weak. The first few days will feel difficult. The first few weeks may test your patience. But eventually something remarkable happens. The things that once required effort begin to feel natural. You no longer force yourself to work. You simply begin. You no longer argue with your schedule. You follow it. That is freedom. Real freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Real freedom is having enough self-control to do what truly matters. Look at a master craftsman. They don't produce excellence by accident. They repeat simple skills until those skills become automatic. The same principle applies to your life. Master the ordinary. Wake up on time. Keep your workspace organized. Finish what you start. Respect your schedule. Protect your attention. These habits may seem small, but together they build an extraordinary person. Remember this. Nobody can see your discipline before they see your success. For a long time, your effort will be invisible. People will think you were lucky. They won't see the mornings you chose learning over sleeping. They won't see the evenings you spent improving while others were distracted. They won't see the weekends you invested in your future. That's okay. You are not working for recognition. You are working for transformation. Transformation happens in private. Recognition comes later. Never confuse the two. Ask yourself this question every night before you sleep. Did I become stronger today? Not richer. Not more famous. Stronger. Did I become more disciplined? More focused? More reliable? If the answer is yes, then the day was a success, even if nobody noticed. Because the person you are becoming matters more than the applause you may never receive. There is another truth you must understand. Intensity is exciting. Consistency is life-changing. Anyone can wake up at 5 in the morning for one day. Anyone can exercise for 3 hours once. Anyone can work until midnight because they're feeling inspired. But can they repeat it tomorrow? Can they repeat it next week? Can they repeat it 6 months from now? That is where discipline separates itself from emotion. You have a choice. You can chase dramatic moments, or you can build dependable habits. The dramatic moments make great stories. The dependable habits build great lives. That's the key. Think about a river. A river does not cut through rock because it is powerful for one day. It cuts through rock because it never stops flowing. Your discipline must become like that river. Quiet, steady, persistent, not loud, not desperate, not emotional, just consistent. That is how extraordinary results are created. Many people believe they need more time. They don't. They need better priorities. Watch how someone spends their day. Watch where their attention goes. Watch what they do when nobody expects anything from them. That is where their future is being written. The quiet hours reveal your true priorities. Not your promises. Not your social media posts. Not your goals. Your actions. Actions never lie. If you spend 2 hours improving your skills every evening, your future changes. If you spend those same 2 hours complaining, scrolling, and avoiding responsibility, your future changes in a different direction. Every hour is a vote. Every decision is a vote. Every habit is a vote. Vote for the person you want to become, not for the person your comfort wants you to remain. That's the key. Stop making discipline feel optional. Make it non-negotiable. You don't negotiate about brushing your teeth. You simply do it. Imagine treating your most important habits the same way. Reading, learning, training, building, creating. No debate. No excuses. No emotional discussion. Just action. That is the mindset of people who achieve uncommon results. They reduce decision-making. They increase execution. The less you argue with yourself, the more progress you make. Remember this. Every excuse sounds reasonable in the moment. I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. Today has been stressful. I deserve a break. The problem is not one excuse. The problem is repeated excuses. Excuses become habits. Habits become identity. Identity becomes destiny. Break the cycle before it becomes your future. You don't need their permission. You need your own standard. Create rules for yourself. Simple rules. I finish what I start. I arrive on time. I read every day. I never quit because of my mood. I keep promises to myself. Those rules become your identity. And identity is stronger than temporary motivation. That's the key. There will be days when your work feels invisible. No compliments. No recognition. No rewards. Those are the days that matter most. Because hidden discipline creates visible success. The world celebrates championships. It never sees the thousands of ordinary practices that created the champion. Remember that whenever you feel unnoticed, you are building something people cannot yet see. Stay patient. Stay focused. Stay disciplined. Your results are growing beneath the surface, just like roots before a tree becomes visible. Strong roots. Strong future. Never rush the process. Growth always happens before recognition. Ask yourself every morning, what kind of person am I practicing to become today? Not tomorrow. Today. Your answers should be visible in your actions, not just your words. Words inspire. Actions transform. Choose transformation. Every single day, one more lesson. Protect your environment. If you surround yourself with people who celebrate excuses, discipline becomes difficult. If you surround yourself with people who respect effort, discipline becomes normal. Choose your influences carefully. The voices around you eventually become the voice inside your head. Make sure they strengthen you, not weaken you. And when nobody else is there, become your own coach. Speak to yourself with honesty, not harshness, not arrogance. Honesty. Remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself what is possible. Then return to work. Again, and again, and again. That repetition is building something greater than success. It is building character. Character survives failure. Character survives criticism. Character survives difficult seasons. Because character is not based on circumstances. It is based on choices. You have a choice. Every sunrise offers it. Every challenge tests it. Every evening reflects it. Choose discipline. Choose consistency. Choose responsibility. Not because someone is watching, but because you are becoming someone worthy of your own respect. Never forget this truth. The greatest victories are won long before the crowd arrives. They are won in empty rooms, quiet mornings, late nights, one disciplined decision at a time, one promise kept, one excuse defeated, one ordinary day repeated with extraordinary commitment. That is how remarkable lives are built. Not in public, in private. Today you strengthened your discipline. You learned that your greatest competition is not another person. It is the weaker version of yourself that asks you to quit. Defeat that version every day, and the world will eventually see the strength you built when nobody was watching. Now it's time to master another powerful skill. Not surviving loneliness, but using solitude as your greatest advantage. Chapter 3. Become comfortable with being alone. There is a moment in every meaningful journey when the noise disappears. The messages become fewer. The encouragement becomes quieter. The crowd moves on to something else. And suddenly, it's just you. Many people fear that moment, but they shouldn't, because that is the moment real growth begins. The strongest version of you is not created in a crowded room. It is created in the quiet. It is created when there is no audience, no applause, no approval, just your thoughts and your decisions. You have a choice. You can see being alone as a punishment, or you can see it as preparation. That's the key. Loneliness and solitude are not the same thing. Loneliness is the feeling that something is missing. Solitude is the decision to use your time with purpose. One weakens you. The other strengthens you. The difference is not where you are. The difference is how you think. Imagine an empty workshop. No distractions. No conversations. Just a craftsman and his tools. Day after day, he works in silence. Every cut becomes cleaner. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every hour improves his skill. Years later, people admire his work. They call him talented. What they never saw was the silence that shaped his ability. Your life works the same way. The hours you spend alone are not empty. They are investments. Every book you read, every skill you practice, every problem you solve without asking someone else to rescue you. Those moments are building someone stronger. That's the key. Most people run from silence. The moment life becomes quiet, they reach for their phone. They scroll. They watch. They consume. Anything to avoid sitting with their own thoughts. But growth begins the moment you stop escaping yourself. Ask yourself this question. Can you sit in a quiet room for 30 minutes without needing constant entertainment? If the answer is no, don't judge yourself. Train yourself. Because a distracted mind cannot build an extraordinary life. Attention is your greatest asset. Protect it. You don't need their permission. You don't need constant conversation. Sometimes the greatest breakthrough arrives after an hour of uninterrupted thinking. Some of the best ideas in history were born in silence. Not because silence magically creates intelligence, but because silence gives your mind room to think. Your brain needs space. Space to reflect. Space to connect ideas. Space to understand your mistakes. If every free moment is filled with noise, where will wisdom find you? You have a choice. Fill every moment with distraction, or leave space for clarity. That's the key. Think about your goals. How much time each day do you actually spend moving toward them? Now compare that to the time spent reacting to notifications, opinions, and unnecessary conversations. The difference between those two numbers is often the difference between success and regret. Time alone is not the enemy. Wasted attention is. Learn to enjoy your own company. Learn to trust your own thinking. Learn to solve small problems before asking someone else. Every challenge you overcome independently adds another layer of confidence. Not because you never needed help, but because you discovered what you were capable of. Confidence grows through experience, and experience often happens in private, when nobody is watching, when nobody is helping, when the only voice pushing you forward is your own. That's the voice you must strengthen. Speak to yourself with honesty. Remind yourself of your purpose. Remind yourself why you started. Then return to the work. Again, and again, and again. Many people fear being alone because they confuse silence with failure. Silence is not failure. Silence is preparation. A seed grows underground long before anyone sees a tree. A building begins with a foundation hidden beneath the surface. A champion spends years training before standing on the podium. The world notices the result. It rarely notices the preparation. Become someone who values preparation. Because preparation creates confidence. Confidence creates action. Action creates results. Remember this. The person who is comfortable being alone is difficult to distract. They don't chase attention. They chase improvement. They don't need constant praise. They need steady progress. That mindset becomes a competitive advantage. While others are searching for approval, you are developing ability. While others are seeking attention, you are building discipline. While others are talking about success, you are quietly becoming successful. That's the key. Never mistake solitude for weakness. Sometimes stepping away from the noise is the strongest decision you can make. Because the quieter your environment becomes, the louder your purpose can speak. Choose purpose. Choose growth. Choose the courage to become your own strongest companion. Your future self will thank you. Every great transformation begins with a conversation, not with another person, with yourself. The quality of your life is often determined by the quality of the conversations happening inside your own mind. When you are alone, there is nowhere to hide. No distractions, no applause, no criticism, only you. Most people spend their entire lives trying to escape that moment. They keep the television on. They keep music playing. They scroll endlessly. They fill every empty minute with noise. Why? Because silence forces honesty. Honesty asks difficult questions. Are you becoming the person you promised yourself you would become? Are your daily actions matching your biggest goals? Are you growing, or are you simply staying busy? Those questions are uncomfortable, but they are necessary. That's the key. Growth begins where excuses end. You have a choice. You can avoid uncomfortable questions, or you can answer them with courage. Every honest answer becomes a step toward a stronger life. Stop fearing quiet moments. Use them. Take 10 minutes every day with no phone, no notifications, no entertainment. Sit with your thoughts. Write down your ideas. Write down your fears. Write down your goals. Then ask yourself one simple question. What is the next action that moves my life forward? Not the biggest action. Not the perfect action. The next action. Progress is built one decision at a time. Another lesson you must understand is this. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some people encourage your growth. Others drain it. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you feel inspired? or exhausted? Do you feel challenged to improve or tempted to settle? Energy is precious. Protect it. The strongest people are careful about what they allow into their minds. Books, conversations, videos, ideas. Every influence becomes part of your thinking, and your thinking shapes your future. That's the key. Become the gatekeeper of your own mind. Don't allow negativity to rent space there. Don't allow doubt to become a permanent resident. Replace destructive thoughts with constructive action. When your mind says, I can't, answer with, I'll learn. When your mind says, it's too difficult, answer with, that's exactly why I must continue. Every challenge is an opportunity to become mentally stronger. Strength is not inherited. It is earned. One difficult decision at a time. You don't need their permission. You need your own commitment. The world will always have opinions. Some will support you. Some will criticize you. Neither should determine your direction. Your purpose must be stronger than public opinion. Imagine an eagle flying above a storm. The storm still exists. The wind is still powerful. But the eagle doesn't fight every gust. It rises above it. Be like that. Rise above unnecessary drama. Rise above meaningless arguments. Rise above distractions that steal your peace. The higher your focus, the smaller the noise becomes. Success is not only about working harder. It is also about protecting your peace. Your peace allows you to think clearly. Clear thinking creates better decisions. Better decisions create a better life. Never apologize for needing time alone to improve yourself. Athletes train alone. Writers write alone. Inventors think alone. Leaders reflect alone. Solitude has always been the workshop of excellence. If you learn to enjoy your own company, you gain a powerful advantage. You stop chasing attention. You stop fearing rejection. You stop depending on constant approval. Instead, you become driven by purpose. Purpose outlasts emotion. Purpose outlasts motivation. Purpose gives ordinary days extraordinary meaning. That's the key. At the end of every day, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I learn today? How did I improve today? What will I do better tomorrow? Those 3 questions create continuous growth. They remind you that every day is a classroom. Every mistake is a lesson. Every success is a responsibility. Remember this truth. Being alone does not mean you are behind. Sometimes it means you are preparing for something greater. Do not compare your private preparation to someone else's public success. You don't know how many silent years they invested. Focus on your own path. Walk it with confidence. Walk it with discipline. Walk it with patience. Because one day, the work you did in silence will speak louder than anything you could have said. And when that day comes, you won't need recognition to know your value. You'll already know it. Because you built it. One quiet decision. One focused day. One disciplined habit at a time. You have learned that solitude is not your enemy. It is your training ground. Now it's time to protect the most valuable resource you have. Not your money. Not your talent. Your attention. Because wherever your attention goes, your future follows. Chapter 4. Protect your focus like your future depends on it. There is one resource more valuable than money, more valuable than talent, more valuable than connections. It is your attention. Money can be earned again. Skills can be learned. Opportunities can return. But 1 hour of wasted attention is gone forever. You will never get it back. That's the key. Every great achievement in history began with focused attention. A scientist making a discovery, an athlete preparing for competition, an entrepreneur building a business, a writer finishing a manuscript. None of them achieved greatness by constantly switching their attention. They protected it. You have a choice. You can allow the world to control your attention, or you can decide where your attention belongs. That decision shapes your future. Think about your average day. How many times do you check your phone? How many times do you interrupt yourself? How many hours disappear without producing anything meaningful? Most people don't lose because they lack ability. They lose because they leak attention. Imagine carrying a bucket full of water. Every distraction creates another hole. One notification, another hole. One unnecessary conversation, another hole. 1 hour of mindless scrolling, another hole. By the end of the day, the bucket is almost empty. Not because there wasn't enough water, because there were too many leaks. Your attention works exactly the same way. Protect the bucket. That's the key. The modern world is competing for your focus. Every application wants your time. Every advertisement wants your eyes. Every notification wants your reaction. If you don't control your attention, someone else will. Successful people understand this. They don't begin the morning by reacting. They begin by creating. Before checking messages, they work on what matters. Before reading other people's opinions, they strengthen their own thinking. Before consuming information, they produce something valuable. Ask yourself one question every morning. What deserves my best attention today? Not what is urgent. What is important? Urgent problems scream. Important goals whisper. Learn to hear the whisper. Most people never do. That's why they stay busy without moving forward. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Running in circles still leaves you in the same place. Movement is not progress. Purposeful movement is progress. Never confuse activity with achievement. You don't need their permission. You need uninterrupted time. Protect 1 hour every day. 1 hour with no notifications. No social media. No unnecessary conversations. 1 hour devoted to building your future. Read, write, learn, practice, create. Defend that hour as if your future depends on it. Because it does. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your work. And the quality of your work determines the quality of your life. Look at the people who accomplish extraordinary things. They rarely multitask. They focus deeply. They finish one meaningful task before beginning another. Depth creates excellence. Distraction creates mediocrity. You have a choice. Become a person who starts everything and finishes nothing. Or become a person who finishes what truly matters. Finishers change the world. Starters fill notebooks with unfinished dreams. That's the key. Another dangerous distraction is comparison. The moment you compare your beginning to someone else's middle, your focus disappears. You stop building your future. You begin measuring your worth against someone else's success. Comparison steals energy. Comparison steals gratitude. Comparison steals confidence. Remember this. You are not competing with everyone. You are competing with the person you were yesterday. Become 1% better. Read one more page. Learn one more skill. Solve one more problem. That is enough. Focus grows when comparison disappears. Many people wake up and immediately invite chaos into their minds. They reach for their phones before they even leave bed. Within minutes, they are carrying other people's opinions, problems, achievements, and distractions. No wonder they struggle to think clearly. Guard your mornings. The first hour belongs to your purpose, not the internet, not strangers, not endless news. Feed your mind with ideas that strengthen you. The rest of the day will follow. Your morning is the steering wheel of your day. Grab it before someone else does. That's the key. Focus is not something you find. It is something you choose. Again and again. Every hour. Every decision. Every day. Every successful person learns one lesson that most people ignore. You cannot say yes to everything and still say yes to your biggest dream. Every yes has a price. When you say yes to unnecessary distractions, you say no to your potential. When you say yes to endless entertainment, you say no to meaningful progress. When you say yes to procrastination, you say no to the future you keep talking about. That's the key. Your attention is like sunlight. Scattered sunlight warms the ground. Focused sunlight can start a fire. Your mind works the same way. A distracted mind stays busy. A focused mind creates results. You have a choice. Scatter your energy across 100 small distractions, or concentrate it on one meaningful mission. Greatness always chooses focus. One practical habit can transform your productivity. Before your day begins, write down the 3 most important tasks. Not 30. 3. Ask yourself, if I complete only these 3 things today, will I move closer to my goal? If the answer is yes, begin with the hardest one. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't check your phone first. Don't organize your desk for the 10th time. Start. Action creates clarity. Motion creates momentum. Many people confuse preparation with progress. Planning is important, but endless planning becomes another form of procrastination. There comes a moment when preparation must end. That moment is now. Take the first step, then the second, then the third. Progress is built by movement, not by perfection. That's the key. Another enemy of focus is the fear of missing out. People worry that if they ignore one opportunity, another person will get ahead. So they chase everything. A new business idea today, a different goal tomorrow, another project next week. Months pass. Nothing is finished. Success belongs to finishers, not collectors of unfinished ideas. Choose one direction. Stay with it long enough to become excellent. Mastery requires patience. Patience requires focus. Think about an archer aiming at a target. The arrow does not reach the center by changing direction in the middle of its flight. It reaches the target because it stays on course. Your goals deserve the same commitment. Stay on course, even when progress feels slow, even when distractions look exciting, even when shortcuts promise quick rewards. Remember this. Fast is not always better. Steady is often stronger. You don't need their permission. You need the courage to ignore what doesn't matter. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is say one simple word. No. No to unnecessary meetings. No to endless scrolling. No to people who constantly interrupt your purpose. No to habits that steal your future. Every time you say no to a distraction, you say yes to your dream. Protect your calendar. Protect your mornings. Protect your evenings. Most importantly, protect your mind. A peaceful mind makes powerful decisions. A distracted mind reacts to everything. Choose peace. Choose purpose. Choose progress. That's the key. At the end of every day, spend 5 quiet minutes reflecting. Ask yourself, what distracted me today? What helped me stay focused? What will I improve tomorrow? These questions build awareness. Awareness creates improvement. Improvement creates momentum. Momentum creates extraordinary results. Remember, focus is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters most. A single hour of deep, uninterrupted work is often worth more than an entire day of constant interruptions. Value quality over quantity. Depth over speed. Consistency over intensity. One focused day becomes one focused week. One focused week becomes one focused month. One focused month becomes one focused year. One focused year can completely change your life. Never underestimate the power of sustained attention. History remembers builders. Builders protect their focus. History remembers creators. Creators protect their attention. History remembers leaders. Leaders protect their priorities. Now it is your turn. Stop allowing distractions to write your story. Take back control. Decide what deserves your best energy. Then give it everything you have. Not for one day. Not for one week. Every day. Because your future is built by whatever receives your attention today. You have learned to protect your focus. Now you are ready for the next lesson. Life will challenge you. People will disappoint you. Failure will visit you. The question is not whether pain will come. The question is what you will do with it. Will it become your excuse? Or will it become your greatest source of strength? The answer determines the person you become. Chapter 5. Turn pain into power. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a decision. Every person you admire has carried a burden. Every successful entrepreneur has faced rejection. Every champion has experienced defeat. Every leader has endured criticism. The difference is not that they escape pain. The difference is that they refuse to let pain define them. That's the key. Life will test you. Not once. Again and again. It will close doors you wanted to walk through. It will introduce people who disappoint you. It will place obstacles directly in your path. You cannot control every challenge, but you can always control your response. You have a choice. Become bitter or become better. That single decision changes everything. Many people spend years asking one question. Why did this happen to me? It feels like an important question. It isn't. A better question is, what can this teach me? The first question keeps you trapped in the past. The second prepares you for the future. Every difficult season carries a lesson. Your responsibility is to find it. Imagine a blacksmith forging a sword. The metal is heated until it glows. Then it is struck again, and again, and again. Without the heat, the metal remains weak. Without the pressure, the blade never becomes strong. Your character is forged the same way. Pressure reveals what comfort never can. Don't fear the fire. Become stronger because of it. That's the key. Think back to one of the hardest moments in your life. Maybe you failed. Maybe you lost someone important. Maybe someone betrayed your trust. Maybe your plans fell apart. At the time, it felt like the end. But look at yourself today. You survived. You learned. You continued. You are stronger than you were before. Pain introduced you to a strength you didn't know you possessed. Never forget that. You don't need their permission. You don't need someone else's sympathy to keep moving. What you need is the courage to stand up one more time than you fall down. Strength is built in those moments. Not when life is easy. When life is difficult. Many people believe confidence comes from success. Sometimes confidence comes from surviving failure. The person who has overcome hardship understands something powerful. I've made it through difficult days before. I can do it again. That belief cannot be bought. It must be earned. Every challenge you overcome becomes evidence. Evidence that you are capable. Evidence that you are resilient. Evidence that you can face tomorrow. That's the key. Another mistake people make is trying to avoid every uncomfortable situation. They stay inside their comfort zone. They avoid difficult conversations. They avoid new opportunities. They avoid risk. At first, comfort feels safe. But over time, comfort becomes a prison. Growth has never lived inside comfort. Growth begins the moment you accept temporary discomfort for long-term improvement. Choose the difficult workout. Choose the honest conversation. Choose the challenging project. Choose the responsibility others avoid. Every difficult choice builds a stronger future. You have a choice. Run from discomfort, or train yourself through it. The strongest people don't enjoy every challenge. They simply understand its value. Remember this. A seed must break before it becomes a tree. A caterpillar must leave its old form before it becomes a butterfly. Transformation always requires change. And change is rarely comfortable. If life feels difficult right now, don't assume you're failing. Perhaps you're growing. Perhaps you're becoming someone stronger than you imagined. Trust the process. Not because it's easy, because it's necessary. One practical habit can change how you respond to pain. At the end of every difficult day, write down 3 things. First, what happened? Second, what did you learn? Third, what will you do differently tomorrow? This simple exercise transforms pain into wisdom. Instead of carrying yesterday's disappointment, you carry tomorrow's lesson. That is growth. Never waste your struggles. Extract the lesson. Apply the lesson. Move forward. That's the key. Pain loses its power the moment it begins teaching you. Every setback becomes preparation. Every failure becomes education. Every obstacle becomes training. The event doesn't change. You do. There will always be people who doubt you. Let them. There will always be people who misunderstand you. Let them. There will always be people who underestimate you. Let them. Your responsibility is not to convince everyone. Your responsibility is to continue improving. Quietly. Consistently. Relentlessly. Because one day your results will speak louder than your explanations ever could. When that day comes, you'll realize something important. The greatest gift your struggles gave you is not success. It was strength. Strength to continue. Strength to believe. Strength to become the person your younger self needed. That's the person you're building. One challenge at a time. One lesson at a time. One decision at a time. Remember this truth. Life does not happen against you. It happens through you. Every challenge is shaping your character. Every setback is preparing your perspective. Every difficult season is inviting you to become someone wiser, calmer, and stronger. Accept the invitation. Stand up. Learn. Move forward. Again and again. Because every step you take through pain brings you closer to the person you were meant to become. There will come a day when life asks you a question that no one else can answer for you. The question is simple. Will this pain stop you, or will it shape you? Everyone faces this question. Not once. Many times. Some answer with excuses. Others answer with action. Your answer becomes your future. That's the key. Think of a mountain climber. Every step upward demands effort. The air becomes thinner. The path becomes steeper. The body becomes tired. There are moments when turning back seems easier than moving forward. Yet the climber continues. Not because the mountain becomes smaller, because the purpose becomes bigger than the struggle. Your life is no different. The goal is not to remove every obstacle. The goal is to become the kind of person who keeps climbing. You have a choice. You can measure your life by how often you fall, or by how often you rise. Choose to rise. Every single time. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that pain has an expiration date. It doesn't. Some disappointments stay with you for years. Some losses leave permanent scars. But scars are not signs of weakness. They are evidence of healing. Every scar says, I survived. I adapted. I kept going. Wear your scars with quiet confidence. Not because you enjoyed the struggle, because you refuse to let it define your future. That's the key. Pain can become a prison, or it can become a teacher. A prison keeps you looking backward. A teacher prepares you for tomorrow. Ask yourself, what is this experience trying to teach me about patience? What is it teaching me about courage? What is it teaching me about resilience? Every honest answer becomes another tool for your future. No experience is wasted if it leaves you wiser. Another truth deserves your attention. You cannot grow while blaming everyone else. Blame feels comfortable. Responsibility creates change. When you blame circumstances, you surrender your power. When you accept responsibility, you reclaim it. This does not mean every hardship was your fault. It means your response is always your responsibility. And that responsibility is where your strength begins. You don't need their permission. You don't need the past to apologize before you move forward. You don't need perfect conditions before taking the next step. You need one decision. The decision to continue. Again, and again, and again. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack on a long journey. Each stone inside represents anger, regret, resentment, or guilt. With every mile, the journey becomes harder. One day you stop. You open the backpack. You remove one stone. Then another. Then another. The road has not changed. But you have. Sometimes strength is not about carrying more. Sometimes strength is about letting go of what no longer serves you. Release the resentment. Release the regret. Carry the lesson instead. Lessons make you wiser. Resentment only makes the journey heavier. That's the key. Now consider the people who inspire you most. Their greatness was not created by avoiding hardship. It was revealed because hardship demanded their best. Pressure revealed their patience. Failure revealed their determination. Loss revealed their character. The same opportunity exists for you. Every difficult season asks, who will you become? Answer with your actions. Wake up. Keep learning. Keep serving. Keep improving. Don't wait until life becomes easier. Become stronger while life remains difficult. That is real resilience. Every morning, remind yourself of 3 truths. I cannot change yesterday. I can influence today. I am building tomorrow. These statements are simple, but repeated daily, they reshape your thinking. They keep your attention where it belongs. On the present. The present is where decisions are made. The present is where habits are built. The present is where transformation begins. Never underestimate the power of one determined day. One disciplined day becomes a disciplined week. A disciplined week becomes a disciplined month. A disciplined month becomes a completely different life. Your future is not created in dramatic moments. It is created in ordinary days handled with extraordinary commitment. Remember that whenever life feels unfair, you are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what you decide to do next. That decision belongs to you. Always. You have a choice. Choose growth over bitterness. Choose wisdom over resentment. Choose action over self-pity. Those choices will not erase your pain. They will transform it. One day you will look back and realize the hardest chapters of your life became the strongest chapters of your character. Not because they were enjoyable, because they forced you to become someone you never would have become otherwise. Stand tall. Walk forward. Carry the lesson. Leave the excuse behind. The fire that once threatened to consume you can become the fire that lights your path. Protect that flame. Feed it with discipline. Guide it with purpose. And let it remind you that every challenge you overcome is proof that you are capable of overcoming the next one. You have turned pain into power. Now you are ready for the next step. Power without direction is wasted. In the next chapter, you will learn how to transform that strength into unwavering self-reliance, so your confidence no longer depends on circumstances or the opinions of others. Chapter 6. Master the art of self-reliance. There comes a moment in every person's life when they discover a powerful truth. No one is coming to rescue them, not because people don't care, but because your future has always been your responsibility. The sooner you accept that truth, the stronger you become. That's the key. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for the perfect mentor, waiting for someone to recognize their potential, waiting for life to become easier. While they wait, time keeps moving. Opportunities pass. Dreams grow older. Nothing changes. Why? Because waiting is comfortable. Responsibility is uncomfortable. But responsibility changes lives. You have a choice. Wait for someone to build your future, or become the builder yourself. Every meaningful achievement begins with that decision. Self-reliance does not mean rejecting help. It means refusing to depend on help before taking action. Advice is valuable. Learning is valuable. Support is valuable. But none of those things replace personal responsibility. The strongest foundation you will ever build is confidence in your own ability to act. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, but consistently. Imagine 2 people standing at the edge of a river. The first waits for someone to build a bridge. The second begins collecting stones. One stone, then another, then another. Day after day, the bridge slowly takes shape. The first person is still waiting. The second person has already crossed. That is the difference between dependence and self-reliance. Builders don't wait. Builders begin. That's the key. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is the ability to solve problems. Every problem you solve becomes evidence that you are growing. Every obstacle you overcome increases your confidence. Confidence is not created by positive thinking alone. Confidence is built through repeated action. You fix one challenge, then another, then another. Eventually, your mind begins to believe, I can handle difficult things. That belief becomes one of your greatest strengths. You don't need their permission. You don't need someone else to believe in your ability before you believe in it yourself. Your actions will create that belief. Many people underestimate the power of small victories. They chase massive breakthroughs. They ignore daily progress. But life is built one decision at a time. Wake up when you promised. Complete the work you planned. Finish what you started. Keep your word to yourself. Every small victory sends your mind a powerful message. I am becoming someone I can trust. Trust yourself. Because when you trust yourself, fear loses much of its power. That's the key. There will be moments when things go wrong. Plans will fail. People will disappoint you. Unexpected problems will appear. Don't panic. Pause. Take a breath. Then ask, what can I control right now? Not tomorrow. Not next month. Right now? Maybe you can't control the storm, but you can control your preparation. Maybe you can't control another person's decision, but you can control your response. Focus on what belongs to you. Leave the rest behind. Energy spent worrying cannot be invested in improving. Invest wisely. Every successful person eventually develops the habit of resourcefulness. When something breaks, they look for solutions. When they don't know a skill, they learn it. When a door closes, they search for another entrance. Resourcefulness turns obstacles into opportunities. Complaining turns obstacles into permanent roadblocks. You have a choice. Become a problem finder, or become a problem solver. The world always has room for people who solve problems. Begin with the challenges in front of you. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Use what you have. Learn what you need. Take one step, then another. Progress is always available to the person willing to move. Another important lesson. Stop measuring your ability by yesterday's mistakes. Yesterday is information, not identity. You are not the failure. You experienced a failure. Those are completely different things. Separate who you are from what happened. Then continue building. Every expert was once inexperienced. Every leader once felt uncertain. Every skilled person once struggled with the basics. Growth is a process. Respect it. Trust it. Continue through it. That's the key. Develop the habit of asking better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what skill will help me solve this? Instead of asking, who will help me? Ask, what is my first step? Better questions create better thinking. Better thinking creates better action. Better action creates a better future. Your future begins with the questions you ask today. Every evening, spend a few quiet minutes reviewing your day. Ask yourself, what challenge did I handle well? What could I improve tomorrow? What lesson will I carry forward? Those questions build awareness. Awareness builds wisdom. Wisdom builds confidence. Confidence builds independence. And independence creates freedom. Remember this. The strongest people are not those who never need help. They are the people who never stop growing, even when help is unavailable. That is self-reliance, not isolation. Growth, responsibility, action, one decision at a time, one challenge at a time, one day at a time. The more capable you become, the less you fear uncertainty, because you know that whatever tomorrow brings, you have already begun becoming the kind of person who can handle it. The moment you stop expecting life to become easier, you begin becoming stronger. That shift changes everything. Most people spend years trying to remove every obstacle from their path. The wiser approach is different. Become the kind of person who can walk through obstacles with confidence. That's the key. Self-reliance is not built in a single day. It is built through hundreds of ordinary decisions. Every time you solve a problem instead of avoiding it, you grow. Every time you learn a new skill instead of making an excuse, you grow. Every time you accept responsibility instead of blaming circumstances, you grow. Growth is always available. The question is whether you are willing to choose it. You have a choice. You can let challenges convince you that you are powerless, or you can let challenges prove that you are becoming capable. Choose capability. Again and again. One of the greatest habits you can develop is learning before you need the lesson. Don't wait until your finances become difficult before learning about money. Don't wait until your health declines before caring for your body. Don't wait until opportunity arrives before building your skills. Preparation creates confidence. Preparation turns uncertainty into possibility. Ask yourself each week, what skill will make my future easier? Then dedicate time to learning it. Read. Practice. Ask thoughtful questions. Apply what you discover. Knowledge becomes valuable only when it is put into action. Remember that. Information fills your mind. Application changes your life. That's the key. Another important part of self-reliance is emotional stability. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves your response. Not every disagreement deserves your energy. Learn the difference between useful feedback and unnecessary noise. Useful feedback helps you improve. Noise distracts you from your purpose. Choose improvement. Ignore distraction. That single habit will protect your peace. Many people spend more time reacting than creating. They react to headlines. They react to comments. They react to rumors. By the end of the day, their energy has been spent on things they cannot control. Live differently. Create more than you consume. Build more than you complain. Contribute more than you criticize. Every hour invested in creating something meaningful strengthens your confidence. Every hour spent complaining weakens it. You don't need their permission. You need the courage to trust your own preparation. Trust is earned. Each promise you keep to yourself adds another brick to the foundation of self-belief. Protect that foundation. If you make a commitment, honor it. If you set a standard, live by it. If you choose a direction, keep walking. Not because it is easy, because consistency builds character. And character carries you through seasons when motivation disappears. There will be days when progress feels invisible. You will wonder whether your effort matters. It does. A tree does not grow overnight. Its roots develop long before anyone notices the branches. Your personal growth follows the same pattern. The habits you practice today become the strengths you depend on tomorrow. Be patient with the process. Never confuse slow progress with no progress. As long as you are learning, improving, and moving forward, you are succeeding. Every step counts. Every lesson matters. Every disciplined day becomes part of the person you are creating. That's the key. Take ownership of your mornings. Begin each day with intention. Spend a few quiet minutes deciding what matters most. Write down your priorities. Complete the most meaningful task before distractions appear. Small morning victories often create productive days. Productive days become productive years. And productive years build extraordinary lives. At the end of each evening, review your actions honestly. Ask yourself, what decision made me stronger today? Where did I avoid responsibility? What one improvement will I make tomorrow? Do not answer with guilt. Answer with honesty. Honesty leads to adjustment. Adjustment leads to progress. Progress leads to confidence. That is how self-reliance grows. Quietly, steadily, day after day. Never wait for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions rarely arrive. Start where you are. Use what you have. Improve what you can. Repeat the process tomorrow. Momentum belongs to those who continue. One day you will look back and realize that the person you were waiting for never arrived, because that person was never someone else. It was you. The stronger version of you. The wiser version of you. The disciplined version of you. You built that person through daily choices. No shortcuts. No rescue. No excuses. Only consistent action. That is the reward of self-reliance. Freedom, confidence, peace of mind, and the quiet certainty that whatever challenge appears next, you have developed the habits, the mindset, and the resilience to face it. You no longer wait for someone else to open the door. You have learned to build your own. Now that you trust yourself, it is time to multiply your impact. Remember this. The strongest version of you will never be created by comfort, approval, or constant support. It will be created by the mornings you chose discipline over excuses, by the nights you kept working while everyone else slept, and by the moments you refused to quit even when nobody believed in you. Stop waiting for permission. Stop chasing validation. Stop depending on motivation. Build your discipline. Protect your focus. Master your mind. Walk your path with confidence, even if you must walk it alone. One day, the same people who ignored your journey will notice your results. But by then, their approval won't matter. You'll already know who you are. Starting today, make one promise to yourself. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more dependence. Take the first step alone and never stop moving.